All right. If you're a sister, if you don't have a head covering when we read, you just need something to put on your head. It don't have to be nothing special, just something to cover your head once we start reading out these scriptures. Actually, while we're praying, if you got something, if you don't have anything, just put your left hand on your head. All right. All right. Going to do the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shamka, Yahweh, Malak Watah, Raba'ah, Rakazaka, Ayah, Aisha, Ba'arakasa, Kawah, Ayah, Bashamayim, Makalanawa, Lakam, Ka, Yawam, Wasalak Lanawa, Kawawak Nawa, Wasalak Lanawa. Wala, Korea now, Manasaya 1, Ba, Abashai now, Mayan, Ra, Kaya, Laka, Malakwa, Wa'ala, Wakapara, Lavalanian, Aban. In English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, for thine is the kingdom and the power forever. So be it. Psalm 121 in the Hebrew. Hasha'ah, Hayanya, Alaharyam, Mayan, Yaba'ah, Isaiah, Ma'aim, Yahweh, Aisha, Shemayim, Warakazah, Ayatam Lamawat, Regalka, Alyanawam, Shemarka, Hana, La'ah, Hanawam, Wala'ah, Yashar, Shawamar, Yasha'ala, Yahweh, Shemarka, Yahweh, Kazalka, Alyakim Yunka, Yawamam, Hashamash, La'ah, Yakaka, Wayarak, Balayala, Yahweh, Yashamarka, Makal Rai, Yashamar, Aknapashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Tazataka, Wabawaka, Ma'aita, Wa'ai, Awalam. Psalms 121 in the English. I will lift up my eyes unto the hills.
I will lift up my eyes unto the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from Yahweh, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day. The sun shall not smite thee by day. Nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out. And thy coming in. From this time forth. And even forevermore.
Psalm 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim, Al-Damayalaka, Al-Dakarash, Wa'al, Dashakwat, Al, Kayak, Hana, Awayabjaka, Hayamak, Yawan, Ra'ash, Al-Imaka, Ya'ara Yawak, so Wadas, Wayata, Ya'aitazawa, Al-Taza Pawan, Al-Tazawa Panyaka, Amarwa, Lakawa, Wanakakidam, Magawa,
Wala'a. Sluggy. Yazakar. Shem Yashala. Awada. Kaya. Nawa'ai Tazawa. Laba. Yakadwa. Aljaka. Baya. Yakarak. Sluggy. Yakarakwa. Ahalya. Arawam. Wa Yashama Alyam. Mawa'aba. Wa Sluggy. Wahagarium. Gabal. Wa Imawan. Wa Imalak. Palashah. I'm Yashab. I'm Yashab here. Has a war. Ram Asha war. Nalawa. Imam. Hayawa. Zarawai. Like it. Yabanya Lawat. Selah. Aisha. Laham. Kamadim. Like we said again. Kamadim. Kasaya. Sara'ah. Kakabian. Kayabian. Banakal. Koyashwan. Nashma Slagin. Nashamadwa. Ba'ayan. Da'ara. Hayawa. Daman. La'adama. Shatan Shalaki. Shayatmawa. Shayatma. Nada. Yatmawa. Ka'ira. Wakaza Abba. Wakaza Bak. Wakatazal. Wakatazal. Manai. Kal. Nasa Yakamwa. Ashar. Ashamar. Slaki. Amarwa. Slaki. Naya Slaki. Naya Rasha. Lanawa. Na'awa. Alahaya. Alahaya. Sayatamwa. Kagalgala. Kakwash. Lapanya. Rawakat. Let me say that again. Rawakat. Ka'ash. Yaira Yaira. Wakalahaba. Talahat. Harayam. Khan. Salakin. Baradapma. Basa Iraka. Wabasa. Wapaka. Sabahalam. Mala'a. Panyawa. Palawan. Wayabakwashwa. Shemka. Yahawa. Like it. Yahawa. Yabashwa. Yawa. Mahalwa. Ayai. Yawa. Kaparwa. Waya. Abadwa. Waya Da'aiwa. Kaya Aita. Shemka. Yahawa. Labaka. Al Yawan. Al Cow. Ha'arataza. Psalms 83, English. Keep not thou silent.
Keep not thou silent.
O Yahweh.
O Yahweh.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
And be not still.
And be not still.
O Yahweh.
O Yahweh.
For
lo,
thine enemies make a tumult.
Thine enemies make a tumult.
And they that hate thee.
They that hate thee.
Have lifted up the head.
Have lifted up the head.
They have taken counsel.
They have taken crafty counsel.
Against thy people.
Against thy people.
And consulted against thy hidden ones.
And consulted against thy hidden ones.
They have said,
Come.
Let us cut them off.
Let us cut them off.
From being a nation.
From being a nation.
That the name of Israel.
That the name of Israel.
May be no more in remembrance.
May be no more in remembrance.
So they have consulted together.
For they have consulted together.
With one consent.
With one consent.
They are confederate against thee.
They are confederate against thee.
Tabernacles of Edom.
The tabernacles of Edom.
And the Ishmaelites.
And the Ishmaelites.
Of Moab.
Of Moab.
And the Hagarites.
And the Hagarites.
The Ball.
The Ball.
And Ammon.
And Ammon.
Amalek.
And Amalek.
The Philistines.
The Philistines.
The inhabitants of Tyre.
With the inhabitants of Tyre.
Ashur.
Ashur.
Is also joined with them.
Is also joined with them.
They have They have hope in the children of Lot.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
Salah. Do unto them.
Do unto them.
As unto the Midianites.
As unto the Midianites.
As to Sisera.
As to Sisera. As to Jalim.
As the perfect song.
As the perfect song.
Which perished at Endor.
Which perished at Endor.
They became as dung for the earth.
They became as dung for the earth.
Make their nobles like Oreb.
Make their nobles like Oreb.
And like Z.
And like Z.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All their princes as Zabah.
All their princes as Zabah.
And as Zalmunna.
And as Zalmunna. Who said,
let us take to ourselves the houses of Yahweh.
The houses of Yahweh. In possession.
Oh Yahweh.
Oh Yahweh.
Make them like a wheel.
Make them like a wheel.
As the stubble before the wind.
As the stubble before the wind.
As the fire burns the wood.
As the fire burns the wood.
And as the flame setteth the mountains.
And the flame setteth the mountains. On fire.
So persecute them.
So persecute them.
With thy tempest.
With thy tempest.
And make them afraid with thy storm.
And make them afraid with thy storm.
Fill their faces with shame.
Fill their faces with shame.
That they may seek thy name.
That they may seek thy name.
Oh Yahweh.
Oh Yahweh.
Let them be confounded.
Let them be confounded.
And trouble.
And trouble.
Forever.
Forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let them be put to shame.
Let them be put to shame.
And perish.
And perish.
That men may know.
That men may know.
That thou.
That thou.
Name alone.
Whose name alone.
Is Yahweh.
Is Yahweh. Art the Most High.
Over all the earth.
Most High Christ. Everyone be seated. And right, clap it up for yourself. Thank you. I appreciate all the turnout. Heavy. We're gonna get right into these scriptures. Give me the scriptures I had on. Give it to you. All right. This is the memorial of the blowing of the trumpets. All right. This is all about understanding that we have to know that we're in a state of emergency right now. You understand? The scriptures say, what do you say? Cry aloud. Lift up thy voice as a trumpet. So we're in a time when you can't be quiet in a mouse. This is the time to proclaim who you are in the earth, man. This is time that you got to have a backbone now. Stop being afraid of everything. You know what I'm saying? Be scared of nothing. Who we fear, the Father we fear. You know what I'm saying? But don't fear man. Man, he going into the dirt just like you. Let a man find out that you have some real character. You know what I'm saying? If you really want to, if white people are an issue to you, the devil that the Bible speaks of, why don't you let them know that you know who you are? Who give a damn about who they are? Let them know that you know who you are, and then operate like that. You got that for me? Yeah, that's it. Go ahead. Blow that. What is fun? What's all grace? Sound crazy. I'm ready. Get it in. Right? Like I was saying earlier, if the trumpet don't give the right sound, you don't know what to be prepared for. And right now, the Christian church got us in sleep. They blowing the trumpet to a samba. You know what I'm saying? Got our grandmas giving all their money. Made us grow up in a society where we got to figure out who the hell we are. How come everybody else knows who they are, but we the only people that is confused? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the whole point of Psalm 83. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand that all these nations, they have come together in a council to be like, we have to make sure they don't ever find out who they are. And that's why the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge is so important, because since 1969, we have been telling people, our people, who we are. You know what I'm saying? Whether you believe it, like it, or want to hear it, at least somebody was doing this job, all right? Now give me Jeremiah chapter 4 and 1. Dr. Sure. Come on. Chapter 4 and 1. If this is too loud, just let me know.
Jeremiah chapter 4
in verse 1. If thou wilt return, O Israel, saith the Lord, return unto me, and if thou wilt put away thine abomination out of my sight, then shalt thou not remove. Verse 2. And thou shalt swear, Yahweh liveth in truth, in judgment, and in righteousness, and the nations shall bless themselves in him, and in him shall they glory.
We had a time where You gotta know. I'm saying we're in a time when you have to understand that we have to come back to the Lord. We can't just operate in this society and think that the Lord is going to bless us because we got a good heart. You got to show, just like your children have to show you that they follow your direction. That's what we got to do to the most for the Most High, because we are the children of Israel. You know what I'm saying? So if your kids got to sit down, hey, Nehemiah, sit down. Go to your mama. If the kids got to do what their parents tell them to do, then what do you think we got to do for our father? You know what I'm saying? And we're in that time when if we do it, these other nations, they're going to be blessed when we're blessed. And what does that mean? That means when we're ruling over every other nation, that's when it's going to be peace on earth. Like the scriptures say, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. You understand? This life, the fact that COVID-19 is destroying the American economy and the world economy is because the wrong people in authority. You shouldn't be eating bats. You know what I'm saying? That should have never been even a thought to look at a bat and say, yeah, that's meat, boil it up. You know what I'm saying? But that's because the earth is getting into the hands of the wicked. So because the wicked rule the earth, you got Asian people eating bats, and now everybody's getting sick and dying of the extreme flu. You read?
Verse 3, for thus saith Yahweh to the men of Judah and Jerusalem, break up your fallow ground and sow not among thorns.
Meaning that whatever you set up right now, you think that's good enough. The Lord is saying, break it up. It's not where you think you're at right now is not as good as it could be if you break it up. Because right now you're sowing among thorns. You understand what does that mean? That means you think you're doing it right, but you're probably doing it wrong. That's why the Lord set up the Lord so that you can walk that narrow path. You know what I'm saying? Not that wide, broad path where anybody can do it. You got to walk a narrow path where only one person can go in at a time. You know what I'm saying? And that's hard work. You know what I'm saying? That's hard work for a man. So it's definitely hard work for a woman. And it's damn sure hard work for a child. But guess what? If we teach our children now, guess what? When it's all said and done, they'll be our age and they'll have a blessing because they won't have to suffer this lifetime the way we suffer. Some of us just finding out we Israelites and we in our 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. You know what I'm saying? Thank goodness your child can find out either when they just come out of the womb or as they're growing up, just like my children found out. Keep going.
Verse 4, circumcise yourselves to Yahweh.
Meaning you gotta cut yourself off and be for the Lord. What are you circumcising yourself from? This world? Keep going.
And take away the foreskins of your heart.
Once again, the foreskin of your heart is your mind. Like you gotta take away that covering over your mind that makes you deny or fight against the truth. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to cut that off. You're gonna have to accept that this is the truth and I ain't never heard it before, so it's gotta be the truth. You know what I'm saying? Because all our life, man, all I knew was the Christian church and pay tithes and I gotta cry for Jesus because he's white and everybody else got the Holy Spirit. I didn't get it. Well, something must be wrong with me. No, it wasn't that, man. It's something wrong with everybody else. They ain't cut the foreskin of their minds off. But thank God, thank the Most High, you can cut the foreskin of your heart off now, and now you can get it together, man. Because you gotta leave your family in 2020 and move it on. You know what I'm saying? And Christ don't come back. I mean, good night. It's September. I feel like Christ coming in December. He's like, I'm just gonna wrap up 2020 with the finale. You know what I'm saying? But if he don't come for another 50 years, man, then you gotta prepare yourself and your children to endure until the end. Keep going.
Ye men of Judah and inhabitants of Jerusalem, lest my fury come forth like fire and burn that none quench it because of the evil of your doings.
You understand? And that's the whole point. The whole point is we don't want the Lord to burn us because he's given us a chance. You understand? The whole point of blowing a trumpet is the watchman's supposed to be looking out and seeing who's coming. Black people are so bad that we can tell who's coming based on how they run. So if I see you running a certain path, I'll be like, yeah, that's got a war. Yeah. I can tell by his stride. He must be coming with good tidings. Or if I see somebody coming behind him that I don't know, I sound the alarm. And people know, all right, something ain't right. Even God of War gonna turn around and be like, it must be somebody behind me
that's out of pocket. You know what I'm saying? And that's where we're at right now. We got to recognize that if we don't turn back, the Lord is going to hit us the way He wants to hit our enemies. So, verse 5? Give me verse 5.
Verse 5. Declare ye in Judah and publish in Jerusalem.
So if you don't know, Judah and Jerusalem, at one point, the kingdom was separated. So Judah's talking about the southern kingdom, and Jerusalem's talking about the northern kingdom. But in the UPK, we bring them all together, man. But just for the context that you understand, Judah is talking about so-called Negroes, and Jerusalem is talking about the so-called Hispanics and Native Americans. Go ahead.
And say, blow ye the trumpet in the land. Cry, gather together, and say, assemble yourselves, and let us go into the defense cities.
Give me Numbers chapter 10, verse 9. The defense cities is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, because we're all over the earth. We're in California, we're in Venezuela, we're in the UK, we're probably in Australia. You understand? We're in Canada. We're all over this planet, and we're the defense city, because outside of it, you run into situations like, I feel like you might know about the Maccabees. You know about the book of Maccabees, you know what I'm saying? And there was a time when brothers went into the mountains to flee from those Greeks. And what ended up happening, they said, look, it's a Sabbath day, we ain't gonna fight, we gonna die in our innocence. And guess what happened? They got killed because they didn't follow Judas Maccabee and his son, Mattathias and his sons. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem. You gotta come into the defense city. You gotta come into the garrison. You gotta come into the stronghold. You can't do this by yourself. I thought I could too. I tried to do this by myself, and I was making a fool of myself. You know what I'm saying? But once I came into the UPK, I found that, okay, this is where brotherhood lives. This is where warriors live. This is where sisterhood is at. I mean, it don't exist nowhere else. You know what I'm saying? You understand? Who lets people into their house that they don't know? You know what I'm saying? It's because we got brotherhood to the ultimate extent. We got sisterhood to the ultimate extent. You know what I'm saying? And we'll protect you with our lives. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna duck when we hear bullets. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna find out who was able to get close enough to us to shoot. You understand? Because you have protection here. Now give me Numbers chapter 10. Once again, if you have your phone or your apocrypha, we're going to be in Judah. So if you don't have an apocrypha, just download a KJV app, and then you'll be able to keep up where we at. Most High Christ, here we do got a couple of apocryphas up here. So if you don't have it, we got something for you. All right, give me Numbers chapter 10.
Numbers chapter 10 and verse 9. And if ye go to war in your land against the enemy that oppresseth you, then ye shall blow an alarm with the trumpets.
So that's the whole point. You got to understand, when there's an enemy amongst us, we're supposed to be blowing an alarm. So you think about, what's that brother, Jacob Blake? You know what I'm saying? That brother got shot 7 times in the back. You know what I'm saying? I think he's paralyzed from the waist down. Like, as a people, we supposed to see what do they do? They say squad when the police come in. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's in us. But one time we have calls that we say, you know what I'm saying, to let people know, like, the enemy is in our territory. You know what I'm saying? And we have to stop looking at the police as a friend. You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to be blowing on because the enemy that came into our neighborhood. A white person coming in the neighborhood, everybody know, man, it's the devil over here, man. We're going to keep an eye on him. You know what I'm saying? But we're so indoctrinated into American society that we actually think, if I call the cops because I'm a good, upstanding, went to college, went to school, I don't break any laws, black man or black woman, you know what I'm saying? I got light skin or I got dark, whatever complexion is going to save me. We think that that's going to help us. Now, understand that you call the enemy to your house. You know what I'm saying? You call the enemy thinking, look, I just want to get him out of my house. And he ends up shooting your shot. You know what I'm saying? They ends up bringing the SWAT team, kills your sleeping daughter. You know what I'm saying? Now you done lost people, and all you were trying to do was get a brother out of your house to deal with a domestic situation. You know what I'm saying? We have to blow the trumpet when our enemy is amongst us. Go ahead.
And ye shall be remembered before Yahweh, your power, and ye shall be saved from your enemies.
So God can't be all love. You know what I'm saying? If we have an enemy, if God don't love everybody the way the Christian church has taught us. And you cannot, you at this point in your life, you don't sucker your kids. Don't let your children really think that dating a white person is going to save them. Dating some Asian is going to help society. It's not. You know what I'm saying? Because while we're always extending our hand with love, they're always pulling back and disowning their kids and wondering what's wrong with them. But they never love you, even when they smile in your face, you know what I'm saying? So we can't look at these other nations like making a union with them is going to help us. Integration is insanity. It's doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Guess what happened when we first got integrated with white people? We were slaves. And guess what happened the second time we integrated with white people? We were still slaves. And what are we in 2020? We're still slaves, man. Because you can't join to your enemy. You gotta know you gotta enemy. Otherwise, you're gonna be murdered by that enemy. Keep going.
Verse 10. Also, in the day of your gladness, and in your solemn days, and in the beginning of your months, ye shall blow with trumpets over your burnt offerings, and over the sacrifices of your peace offering, that they may be to you for a memorial before your power. I am Yahweh, your power.
You understand? It's I'm the Lord your God. If you want to know exactly what it said on the book, and it said, "But I am Yahweh your power." Like with the trumpet is not only to warn us, but it's also on like days like this. We come together in gladness. You know what I'm saying? Just blow the trumpet. And the Lord said He ain't gonna hear our vials and our different songs. You know what I'm saying? He ain't gonna accept our offering because those are the offerings of Christianity. Those are the offerings of the world. But what the Lord is doing right now is He's here in this room with us. You understand? Just like Christ, they actually pay attention to these moments. You understand? But on Sunday morning, every week, they don't give a damn about that. You think that Christ glad His name is Yahweh Shai. Because when they be saying Jesus, Jesus, you don't hear that. You know what I'm saying? That ain't His name. But specifically, it's not His name because He ain't got nothing to do with Christianity. You know what I'm saying? So it don't matter what you want to call Him. If you are not in the truth, you don't care what you say. You can call Him Yeshua, Yeshaya, all the different names. He's not hearing that. But the Lord does hear what happens in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you have to understand. You know what I'm saying? If you can get that, you're going to go far. All right? From there, give me Numbers chapter 29 and verse. I want to kind of get past. No, I need that one. Numbers 29 and 1.
Kawakar. Numbers chapter 29 and verse 1. And in the 7th month, on the first day of the month, ye shall have an holy convocation.
So today is the first day of the 7th month. All right, and then 7 days later, we're gonna have the Day of Atonement. All right, the Day of Atonement is not a gathering situation. You understand? It's a day when grown people who can function fast for 24 hours. The little babies, they eat and they drink. If they're not at a point where they can handle themselves, they don't fast. Just like older people, they don't fast. People on dialysis, they don't fast. People with different type of medical conditions, they don't fast for the Day of Atonement. We, the strong, youthful, and vibrant ones, we do it for them. You understand? We don't make everybody do it. We do it for them. You understand? That's why we say warriors for here, because we fight for the people. Sign Christ, shalom, sis. You see it. We're at Numbers chapter 29 and verse 1. Keep reading.
It is a day, Salakia. Ye shall do no servile work. It is a day of blowing the trumpets unto you.
You understand? Like this is a day for us. You know what I'm saying? So let's say you do have a slavery. That's what we call a job. Let's say you do have a slavery. If you can't get off, man, don't beat yourself up. You know what I'm saying? But if you know what I'm saying, if you had your slavery, you know what I'm saying, you just gotta do it. Just like the Day of Atonement that's gonna come up. If you got a job and you gotta be there, you just gotta be there, man. We're not in our kingdom, right? We're in the white man's kingdom. So you have to do what you can with what you got. You know what I'm saying? So while we're in this kingdom, man, honor it. You know what I'm saying? And just know that we'll do it for you. But specifically today, on the first day of the seventh month, this is the holy convocation that you're doing right now. So give it up to yourself one more time, man. You fulfilling the law. You know what I'm saying? The very law that some people are trying to make you feel like you're wrong for doing. You know what I'm saying? Specifically Christianity. It makes you feel bad because you want to actually serve the Lord. Because you take it seriously and it's not a game to you. You know what I'm saying? It's one of the most wonderful things that can happen in your life is to find out you're an Israelite and you have laws, statutes, commandments, customs, cultures, and a lifestyle that is not duplicatable and that nobody else can get in on, man. Can't nobody, no Asian, no African, no white person, none of them can know, the Hawaiians, Samoans, none of them, they can wear a cross, they can wear an ankh, they'll never be an Israelite. Right? It's in your blood, you know what I'm saying? And that's something that you can take to the grave. And when you wake up and find that out about yourself, life is so much better. All right, give me let's see. Give me let's skip that. That's a lot. It's good, it's good. Read through Joshua chapter 5, verse 9. This is a whole little kind of story. But the end, we're gonna read Joshua chapter 5, verse 9 through 15. The point of the story is in the last verse, but the beginning is also heavy. You got to go in it.
Joshua chapter 5 and verse 9. And the Lord said unto Joshua.
Oh, sorry. If you have a smartphone and you want to download maybe a KJVA app. Okay, no sweat. Do we have extra Bible? No problem. No sweat. If anybody got an extra Bible, let the sister or any sister that can share. But nonetheless, go ahead. Joshua chapter 5, verse 9.
Joshua chapter 5 and verse 9. And the Lord said unto Joshua, this day have I rolled away the reproach of Egypt from off of you.
What you got to understand is the Lord going to roll away the reproach of America off of us with. You know what I'm saying? And doing things like this on these days, you're rolling off the reproach of America because you're not indoctrinated in this culture anymore. Now you're like, I know I'm an Israelite. I know what I'm supposed to do. I know I messed up before, but I also know nobody taught me. You understand? And during the time of Joshua, thousands and thousands of years ago, what did he say from the top?
And the Lord said unto Joshua, this day have I rolled away the reproach of Egypt.
This is after Moses. After we spent 40 years in the desert of Sinai. He's telling Joshua, look, I done rolled away the reproach of Egypt from you this day. You understand? Meaning we was brand new at this point. Keep going.
Wherefore the name of the place is called Gilgal unto this day. Verse 10. And the children of Israel encamped in Gilgal and kept the Passover on the 14th day of the month and at even in the plains of Jericho.
Plains of Jericho. Everybody know about Jericho. That's when we blew the trumpets and shouted and knocked down them walls. You understand? Like we was in our land at this point. You know what I'm saying? We were coming into the land of Canaan, which was actually the land of Israel, and we was kicking out all the inhabitants. You understand? Keep on.
And they did eat of the old corn of the land on the morrow after the Passover, unleavened cakes and parched corn in the selfsame day.
We was observing one of our highest holy days, the Passover, and the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Ain't nothing changed, just the year. But the Lord's law stands forever. Keep going.
Verse 12. And the manna ceased on the morrow after they had eaten of the old corn of the land.
Manna was coming from heaven. And so we was eating angel food before that while we was in the desert. At this point, we was in our land. The Lord was like, you don't need this no more. Now you don't eat of the fruit of the land. Keep going.
Neither had the children of Israel manna any more. But they did eat of the fruit of the land of Canaan that year. Verse 13. And it came to pass when Joshua was by Jericho that he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there stood a man over against him with his sword drawn in his hand.
Does anybody know who this man is? Anybody got an idea who this man might have been? Just so what you might know about the scriptures. That's what makes this Bible so amazing. Like this is like anime. If you're into anime or something like that, it's like something visual that you just gotta see a black man. When you see Joshua, Joshua was, I believe, he was from the tribe of Levi. Yeah, he was a Levi. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta see this Jamaican brother, and you know how Jamaicans are, West Indians are. You know what I'm saying? You know how Caribbean people from the Caribbean islands are. You gotta see a brother like that, brother like that. You know what I'm saying? Brother like that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You gotta see someone like you gotta make it real for you. You can't keep it like this all the time. It's gotta stop being right for you. You gotta just see black people and white people and Native Indian people to make it real. You know what I'm saying? So he's standing by the way and he sees a man with a drawn sword. Now, who is this man? Keep going.
And Joshua went unto him and said unto him, Art thou for us or for our adversaries?
That's how Joshua was. He wasn't hi, my brother. God is all love. He's like, are you sure? Absolutely. Most of our crack his brother hand. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely saying an angel. You know what I'm saying? Read that again from the top.
And it came to pass when Joshua was by Jericho that he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there stood a man over against him with his sword drawn in his hand.
He wasn't like in the same direction. He was facing with the sword in his hand. So just imagine walking up on somebody with an AK. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like he's in a position like we on the same side. He's facing you with the AK. And then what did y'all say?
And Joshua went unto him and said unto him, Art thou for us or for our adversaries?
Then, are you with me or are you against me? Because if you're against me, it's going down. You know what I'm saying? He had a war frame of mind. It wasn't peace, brother. The God of Israel is the God of everybody. He was like, I don't even know you. Are you for me or are you my adversary? Keep reading.
And he said, Nay, but as captain of the host of the Lord am I now come.
This is Michael, Mayaka Alaka. The angel Michael that came down, you know what I'm saying, in the form of a man and said, look, hey, it's not him saying he's not against us. It's like, I ain't with none of that. I'm the captain of the host of the Lord. You work for me, if anything, you know what I'm saying? I mean, obviously, angels work for us, but like you under my authority in a sense. Keep going.
But as a captain of the host of the Lord am I now come. And Joshua fell on his face to the earth and did worship and said unto him, What saith my Lord unto his servant?
I said he recognized, he knew what he meant. He said, I'm the captain of the Lord's army, man, and I came up to you. So he's like, oh man. He worshiped in the moment. It was like, what word have you from the Lord, basically? Keep going.
Verse 15, and the captain of the Lord's host said unto Joshua, Loose thy shoe from off thy foot, for the place wherein thou standest is holy. And Joshua did so.
You understand? We was in our land, and that angel said, you were in a holy place, man. Take off your shoes. You understand? And what is the last part, which was so important, that last sentence?
And Joshua did so.
He did not contend with that angel. He came in his authority. I'm Officer Karak, 5,000 the Israelite School Universal Practical Knowledge under Commander Juliana since 1969. And that brother understood, if you understand what I'm trying to give a reference to, Joshua was like, oh, I understand what your rank means. And he said, loose thy shoes, you're in a holy place. And he did it. He didn't fight. The next verse ain't him contending with, oh, well, I don't know about all that. He understood his rank. He knew what that meant. And he went with it and said, what does the Lord have for me from you? You know what I'm saying? And that's how you got to operate with the Lord. It ain't two truths. There's only one West. There's only one truth, man. It's as plain as that. All right? Give me Ezekiel chapter 34, verse 31.
Come.
All right? 34 and 31. Ezekiel 34 and 31.
Ezekiel chapter 34 and 31.
3, verse 6.
And ye, my flock, the flock of my pasture, are men.
The flock of my pastor are what?
Are men.
Go ahead.
And I am your God, saith the Lord God.
You understand? The Lord wants men. You know what I'm saying? We love the sister, but the Lord wants men. You understand? The priests and prophets of the Lord have always been men. Read it again.
Ezekiel chapter 34 and verse 31. And ye my flock, the flock of my pasture, are men. And I am your God, saith Yahweh the Most High.
You understand? He's just giving the order. It has nothing to do with sexism or favoritism. The Lord wants men of war. What's Exodus 15 and 3? The Lord is a man of war. Yahweh is his name. If the Lord is a man of war, what does he want? He wants men of war. You understand? And every Israelite is a servant. Male, female, child, elderly, we all servants of the Lord, but the flock of the Lord's pastor, meaning the ones that do his bidding, go out and do the work, they are men. You understand? Give me that, Amos.
Amos chapter 3, verse 6. Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid?
So if a trumpet is blown in the city, once again, if you hear that warning, or if it's blown in another way, wherever they're going over, you know what I'm saying? You're going to know it means something. You know what I'm saying? So if a trumpet is blown in the city, what?
And the people not be afraid?
You understand? If a trumpet is blown, it don't matter if when the police siren go on. Right? When you just driving in your car, right? And the police, woo! I wasn't ready for that. You know what I'm saying? A sound triggers something in you. You know what I'm saying? And if a trumpet gets blown, you know it's normally going to be because some enemy is in our presence or something terrible is happening and is bringing along more attention to the situation. Keep going.
Shall there be evil in a city, and the Lord hath not done it?
Shall there be evil in the city, and the Lord hath not done it? So homosexuality is rampant through America, right? Guess what the evil is? The evil is the Isupk coming up against it and saying that the Lord is against homosexuality. You understand? The evil is the crack, and the heroin, and all the different drugs and the abuses going on in the city. And the Isupk coming through saying you shouldn't be doing drugs because your body is a temple. You understand? The evil in the city is the men of the Lord coming and stopping the evil that is getting peace in that very city. That might be a little bit heavier for you to understand. But you got to understand, if someone molests a child, what does the family do? The family says, shh, or that didn't happen to you, hide. You know what I'm saying? They don't protect the child. But the Isupk, we go out in the streets and we say child molestation is wrong and you should be put to death for touching a child, for destroying their life, for doing any manner of wickedness that causes people to have what they call adverse childhood effects, ACEs. You know what I'm saying? So we fight against that. You know what I'm saying? But people will call us evil because we don't just deal with it. You understand? But if there's evil in the city, have not the Lord done it? Keep going.
Verse 7. Surely the Lord God will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets.
You understand? Like the Lord reveals his secrets to the men of the Lord, the prophets. In the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, how is the white man coming out of authority? Thermonuclear war in World War III. You understand? The white man has a gun that shoots fire. You understand? It literally shoots fire in the sky. You understand? You're not beating him with a Glock 9. You understand? He can just tear down your whole block with a shotgun that shoots 1,000 rounds in a second. You're not beating him, but the Lord will destroy him. You understand? And the Lord revealed that through his prophet in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. You want to know how black people get peace? When the Lord brings evil to America. You understand? Keep going. Verse 8.
The lion hath roared, who will not fear? The Lord God hath spoken, who can but prophesy?
Understand? Once again, just like the alarm of a trumpet. If a lion roars, you're going to have fear in your heart because a lion got a different spirit. You understand? A lion is a predator. It's meant to attack. So when that predator roars, you know if I'm close enough to hear it, I'm in a bad situation. And when the Lord has spoken, what can a man do but prophesy? Meaning, I don't have an option. I don't do this because I want to do it. The Lord called me into this work to do this. This isn't by choice. I would love to be doing something wicked and horrible right now because it's carnal. But the Lord said, not no more. Now you're going to serve me the way I called you to serve. You understand? And that's what we got to understand about the Most High. It ain't because we want to serve him. It's because he's already declared that you're going to be my servant from the womb. All right, give me 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 3.
Oh, God.
I'm not going to get as far as I want based on the time, but I'm going to try. Keep going.
1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ.
So who's leading a man? A man. The head of every man is Christ. A man is leading a man. Hope everybody can hear because it gets deeper. Go ahead.
And the head of the woman is the man.
Who's leading a woman? A man. It ain't special. I follow orders. These brothers say count out of one kind. Same way I say count out of one kind. My ribs say count out of one kind. Same way you'll say count out of one kind to your man. You're being led by a man. Go ahead.
And the head of Christ is God.
Who's leading Christ? A man. It's all how the structure is run. A man is always leading someone else. You understand? I lead my children, but my children ain't follow my wife. You know what I'm saying? Just like these children. The father, he might be leading, but they also follow your lead. You know what I'm saying? That's why his orders have to be the orders that you live by so that you can teach them. You know what I'm saying? The same way Commander Juliana takes orders from Christ. And the orders that Commander Juliana gives, the generals follow them, the captains follow them, the officers and the troopers and the young men follow them, and I follow them just the same. So who's giving Christ his orders? The Most High. You understand? That even cuts people that think that God and Christ are the same person. There is no Father, Son, Holy Spirit, Trinity. That's sulfur. That's garbage. You know what I'm saying? The Most High is his own entity. Christ is his own entity, but the Holy Spirit is of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? So from there, get me Proverbs chapter 14 and verse 1, show. You say, don't think it's Proverbs 14 and 1. So don't think it's strange to have to follow your man because and I say this to sisters because it's very important for y'all to, how would I want to say this? Enjoy that. Enjoy that you get to take orders because I enjoy taking orders as a man. Brother, give me an order. Kind of. Boom. Same thing with you. Same thing with your children. Your children should enjoy taking your orders because life is easier when you just follow an order. Do this, do that, no sweat. Do this, do that, no sweat. I give an order, do this, do that, and they say no sweat. Ain't life easier when people just follow orders? It get hard when you gotta talk to somebody and combat them to follow a simple order. Like, just do this. Why are we doing this? Follow the damn order. You know what I'm saying? I follow orders to the T. Sisters follow orders to the T. Go ahead.
Proverbs chapter 14, verse 1. Every wise woman buildeth her house.
So a wise woman is going to build her house. And what is the house? The house is Israel. Not just the house you live in, but a wise woman is going to build her house. And the house she wants to build is her people. All our lives we've been building the white man's house. From the plantation. Building this house. You know what I'm saying? Suckling his children. You understand? The horrible wickedness that they've done to us on their plantation. Even if we had a movie called Hidden Colors, it was about the sisters that helped the white man go to the moon and stuff like that with their mathematical skills. I saw a scene where the white man was like, "Why you haven't been here?" And she was like, "Look, I wasn't here because I had to go to the bathroom. They don't have any bathrooms here that I can use, so I had to go over to this place and that place just to use the bathroom." It was a big old thing. And we've been building the white man's house. You know what I'm saying? But a wise woman, she gonna build her own house. And that house is your household and the house of Israel. Keep going.
But the foolish plucketh it down with her hands.
You understand? But the foolish, she plucks it down with her hands. So you don't want to tear down the bricks or the foundation of your household. You know what I'm saying? You want to build it up. And I always say the best way to think is, matter of fact, give me 1 Peter 3:1. The best way to think is it's better to build something up or to repave it rather than to just destroy it. Now you got this big breach in your household, in your house structure. You know what I'm saying? You might as well build that thing up and make it better. I don't care what you've been through. Everybody in a relationship has been through some garbage. But let's rebuild that thing. Now's your time to just be like, forget it. Forget the past. I'm just going to build from here. You know what I'm saying? And let all that other stuff go. That's what a wise woman would do. But a foolish woman, she'll just continue to pluck it down. You know what I'm saying? Don't be a foolish one. Go ahead.
1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 1. Likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husband.
Understand? Which means listen to him. You know what I'm saying? You got a husband? Follow his commands. Like that's what Eve was supposed to do. Eve's desire was supposed to be unto her own man, her own husband. So he got a desire as long as it's not illegal or unlawful. See him fulfill it. You know what I'm saying? Lord willing, that brother coming to the UPK, it's even greater because there is no error in the walk of a brother in the ISUPK and a sister in the ISUPK because all we think about is serving the Lord and doing it correctly. We'll make our mistakes along the way, like any person, but our mindset is not to error. It's like Christ said, be ye therefore perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. Perfection don't mean you don't make mistakes. Perfection means you keep the law about how you do or go about your business. You understand? Keep going.
If any obey not the word, they also may without the word be won by the conversations of the wise.
Read that from the top so I can break it all down.
Come. 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 1. Likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands, that if any obey not the word, they also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wives.
Meaning, if you carry yourself in a certain manner, people that ain't even married or in the truth, they'll be like, well, damn. Based on, I guess it's how you're supposed to act. Because it looks good, it smells good, it sounds good, it tastes good. You know what I'm saying? People can be more. Women have, not only are women beautiful, but women have the ability to change the world just by their attitude. Like, look at horrible examples of the WAP girls. You know what I'm saying? Think about how they destroyed a certain portion of society. But think about how another type of woman, a virtuous woman, whose price is far above Ruby, you know what I'm saying? Think about how she can really show the world how a woman is supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? The key to that is to not want to be popular. Don't want to be instantly, yeah, this is what I want to do. Do something that's going to take some work, like knitting. Knitting ain't the same way as a sewing machine. A sewing machine is, but knitting is a hands, it's craft. And you want to be like that. Be a craft. Don't be something that can just be streamlined. You know what I'm saying? And that takes work and that takes the willingness to separate from a society that doesn't want you to do that. All right, give me verse 5.
Verse 5. For after this manner in the old time, the holy women also, who trusted in God, adorned themselves, being in subjection unto their own husbands.
Keep going.
Verse 6. Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose daughters ye are, as long as ye do well and are not afraid with any amazement.
Meaning the women of old, they listened to their husband. Even Sarah, who called her husband Lord, which is Adawan in Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? And what you have to do is you have to be able to do that with no amazement. Meaning, don't make it hard. It shouldn't be amazing to call your man, yes, my Lord. Even if you say it in English, yes, my Lord. Say that. Just go home and say it tonight. He's going to be like, who the hell is this? And he was like, what? Yeah, absolutely. Just like, what can a man call his woman? You know what I'm saying? He could call you Asha, which is wife in Hebrew. You might not know it, but he can say something sweet to you that he don't normally say. And you'd be like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. You know what I'm saying? But if you say, yes, my Lord, it calms a spirit. You know, it's just if you have a man that rages. If you have a man that goes off the hinges and stuff like that, and you're like, yes, my Lord, you'd be like, I wasn't expecting that. Fine, all right. Go ahead and do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? But you got to understand that the women of old, they were like that. So who would you want to read about? You want to read about Sarah. You want to see how Sarah was. You know what I'm saying? That's why when somebody try to tell you the Old Testament is done away with, they're hindering you because they're taking away a whole portion of the book that teaches you how to be some type of woman of old. You know what I'm saying? Let me see if I want to get these. If not, get me. Let's keep reading. Keep reading.
Verse 7. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge. Give honor unto the wife.
Say it again.
Give honor unto the wife.
Giving honor unto the wife. You understand? Like, respect your woman too. You know what I'm saying? It's a two-way street. You know what I'm saying? Respect your woman. Like, that's who you lay with. That's who's in your bosom, man. If both of y'all are, if we're both working together in unison, we're going to build this house even better as a unit. You understand? It's never think it's one way. It ain't just a woman got to be sweet, lovey-dovey to her husband. He just got to be a brute all the time. Oh, man, you got to slow her with knowledge, man. You know how your woman is. You know what she like to hear. You know what ticks her off. You know what's going to calm her down, man. Be that man. Don't be the, like, don't, how can I explain this? Don't be the type of person that want to have attitude. Whatever, no, I'm still mad about, no, you want to do that. You ever seen those videos where the dudes be having their girl, he's like, feed them and stuff like that? Macaroni and cheese. Greens now. Like, what the heck? How is that conducive to a relation? Last time I got fed, I was had Gerber. I got a hand, I can feed myself, you know what I'm saying? So all of that power stuff on both sides, it ain't necessary if she's calling you out of wine and you're calling her baby and treating her like she's your baby. Keep going.
And giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel.
Weaker don't mean that you weak, you can't fight. It's just you have all the softness of that. That's it. Well, woman is squishy, you know what I'm saying? That's the weaker vessel. You understand? She has all the emotion. You know what I'm saying? She deal with all of those feelings, man. Treat her like that. Treat her like she's emotional. And you know, people that are emotional, you can't punch them in the face. They're gonna react differently. You gotta treat her like you gotta be soft and delicate with her. Keep going.
And as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered.
You want to do this because you don't want the Lord to not listen to your prayers because you treat your woman like a mouse. You know what I'm saying? The scriptures say a man rather dwell with the corner of a roof than in the house, a large place with a dragon. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So woman, don't be a dragon, and your brother don't be the Hulk. You know what I'm saying? Be loving. Let the world get the Hulk. Let the world get the dragon. You know what I'm saying? But let you, both of y'all, let y'all get the tender love from each other. You know what I'm saying? Clap that up. Clap that up. That's all I said again. Now, we're going to go to the book of Judith. I am not going to get through all of this. Can you hang with me till 9:30? Is that going to, you're good? Sounds good. Nobody said anything else. All right. I want to get through a lot. This is a very heavy story. I will not get through all of it at this time, but this chapter is very important to get through because this is going to give you some history on what the other nations know about you. And if you don't even know about you, this is a great chapter to find out your history. Give me the book of Judith, chapter 5. We're going to read verse 1 to the end. Anybody have any questions though before we go deep? I promise we're gonna get through it. But anybody have any questions? Good. Did you want something to eat or something like that? We had some drinks and stuff outside. Okay. Anybody, if you're hungry or thirsty, please go get something. Got it?
Overcome.
Okay. So over there.
Judith chapter 5. Okay, you got the 6 and 11 on. Judith chapter 5 and verse 1. Then was it declared to the Holofernes, Holofernes, the chief captain of the army of Assur,
Which is the Assyrians.
that the children of Israel had prepared for war and had shut up the passages of the hill country and had fortified all the tops of the high hills and had laid impediments in the Champagne countries. Verse 2, wherewith he was very angry and called all the princes of Moab and the captains of Ammon and all the governors of the sea coast.
So Ammon, like all the princes of Moab is the Chinese, and the captains of Ammon is the Japanese, and the governors of the sea coast will be your Africans like in Tyre and Zion in the Mediterranean area. You know what I'm saying? Because you gotta just know, if you know the position where Israel is, the Mediterranean Sea, that whole Red Sea area, that's I guess what they call the Fertile Crest, something like that. That's where the ports are real good in the land. That's where all the shipping goes in. So we are preparing ourselves for war, meaning we're not doing like everybody else that just concedes. Black people, Hispanic people, Native American Indian people, we're not cowards. We are not cowards. Y'all not afraid of the police. I hope everyone knows that. Black people ain't afraid of white people. We ain't afraid of Africans. We ain't afraid of nobody. We have simply been institutionalized to think that if I respond, I'm going to lose my life. But we not, listen to our music. We're not afraid. You understand? Listen to us. We're not afraid. We'll go head toe to toe with a Ku Klux Klan member tonight, tomorrow. We're not afraid. We're just mentally, we're trained to think that it's a bad idea, that we gotta love everybody. And that just comes from Christianity.
Verse 3, and he said unto them, tell me now, ye sons of Canaan, who this people is.
That's the people that are coast. The sons of Canaan, those are Africans. Go ahead.
That dwelleth in the hill country, and what are the cities that they inhabit, and what is the multitude of their army, and wherein is their power and strength, and what king is set over them, or captain of their army. Verse 4, and why have they determined not to come and meet me, more than all the inhabitants of the west?
And everybody else was like, yeah, we gonna, what's happening? Let's concede. We was like, nah. They like, why didn't everybody else came to see me? Why these black people? Or I'll say it in language, why these niggas didn't come and see us? What's up with that? Go ahead.
Then said Achior, the captain of all the sons of Ammon, let my Lord now hear a word from the mouth of thy servant, and I will declare unto thee the truth concerning this people.
So you gotta Ammonites or Japanese people. So this son, you gotta see a Japanese person saying this to someone that's kind of like Kim Kardashian people, you know what I'm saying, or like Armenian, you know, that's the Assyrian and stuff like that. So you gotta see it, and I know it's easy to forget that. It's easy to just like Noah, whatever they get. All right, it's easy to forget that these are actual races of people. You'll just see the names. And you'll be like, yeah, Achior, now that captain of the Ammonites, or Holofernes of the Assyrian Asher. You won't give them a face. And then guess what happens? You'll watch a movie, and everybody will be white. And you don't even know who the hell people are anymore. You know what I'm saying? So this Japanese, who's Jackie Chan ain't Japanese. Who's Japanese? The day that acts that you know of. Let's just use Jackie Chan, just for the sake of conversation, all right? You got Jackie Chan, and he's talking to Kim Kardashian's father. I don't know. You understand what I'm saying? Just somebody that's Armenian and Assyrian. Let's use Saddam Hussein for lack of a better word, all right? Just so you get an image. So Saddam Hussein, and then you got Jackie Chan talking to him, telling him about us. Go ahead.
Let my Lord now hear a word from the mouth of thy servant, and I will declare unto thee the truth concerning this people, which dwelleth near thee, and inhabiteth the hill countries, and there shall no lie come out of the mouth of thy servant. Verse 6, this people are descended of the Chaldeans, and they sojourned heretofore in Mesopotamia, because they would not follow the gods of their fathers, which were in the land of Chaldea.
This is talking about how Abraham, how when he was Abram, he left from following after his father, you know what I'm saying, and inherited the land that the Lord had promised him when he got his name Abraham, something like that. Keep on.
And they sojourned, verse 8, for they left the way of their ancestors and worshiped the God of heaven, the God whom they knew. So they cast them out from the face of their gods, and they fled into Mesopotamia and sojourned there many days. Verse 9, then their God commanded them to depart from the place where they sojourned, and to go into the land of Canaan, where they dwelt and were increased with gold and silver and with very much cattle. But when a famine covered all the land of Canaan, they went down into Egypt and sojourned there. While there they were nourished and became there a great multitude, so that one could not number their nation.
So what you're hearing about is the end of Genesis and the beginning of Exodus, talking about how when that famine came during the time of Joseph, and Joseph saved the whole world at that time by being wise in how they should store food. Like we were rich during the time of Abraham. The famine came, we fled into we were in Egypt, but because of the famine, we ended up moving into Egypt, all of them. You understand, keep going?
Therefore the king of Egypt rose up against them and dealt subtly with them, and brought them low with slavery in brick, and made them slaves.
And made them what?
Slaves.
And this isn't a lie. This has always been our history. We've always been enslaved by some people because we get to be such a grand number, and because they know they're treating us wrong. Like, think about it. We were enslaved in America, yet we still are here today. We were beat. We've been lynched for 100 years. They broke the buck on the plantations out there in Haiti. They was putting the mask over the Haitians while they was picking that vanilla bean. Like all the things that have ever happened to us, and we still are here. You know what I'm saying? Every nation that has ever that we consider a friend, at some point they enslaved us. You know what I'm saying? And this is a history that this Asian is given this Assyrian. He's telling them like, look, the Egyptians enslaved them. You know what I'm saying? There's a book called The Black Image and the White Mind, where it says that based on archaeological and cranial evidence, that the black people in America today are in the same position that they were in Egypt, which means we've always been enslaved, whether the race was dark or white. We've been enslaved by somebody. You know what I'm saying? So it's important for us not to ever think that we have friends. Your only friends and your only neighbors are other blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. Do business with everybody. By all means, that's the whole point of our other relationships. But you should know that your neighbor is another black man, Hispanic man, Native American Indian man, black woman, Hispanic woman, and Native American Indian woman. That's got to be your mental priority. You know what I'm saying? So that if they do you wrong, you're like, well, you just messed up. But when a white person do you wrong, you'll be like, man, I'm holding that forever, man. That's the grudge I'm going to hold. I'm going to hold that grudge. I ain't going to hold a grudge against my brother because he broke just like me. But I'll hold a grudge against, who's the Mark Zuckerberg. You know what I'm saying? He got all these millions of dollars. He gives a little bit out, but he's sucking us dry every day. You know what I'm saying? He has us addicted to our phone. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm going to hold a grudge against. Go ahead, keep reading.
Verse 12. Then they cried unto the Most High, and he smote all the land of Egypt with incurable plagues. So the Egyptians cast them out of their sight. And God dried the Red Sea before them, and brought them to Mount Sinai, and Cades Barn, and cast forth all that dwelt in the wilderness. So they dwelt in the land of the Amorites, and they destroyed by their strength all them of East Barn. And passing over Jordan, they possessed all the hill country. Wow.
So this is just telling you the history of what happened while we were in the desert, in the wilderness. when we finally got over those 40 years and we started to go into our land, this is before we crossed the Jordan, and then after we crossed the Jordan. Go ahead. Because we had land on one side of the Jordan River and on the other side. Keep going.
And they cast forth before them the Canaanite, the Perizzite, the Jebusite, and the Sychemite, and all the Girgashites, and they dwelt in the country many days.
So what you got to hear is your ancestors winning. That's what you got to hear. You got to hear blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans coming together and fight. Like like picture a black man and a Native Indian man and a Latino on a mountain looking at the armies of these Africans and being like, what's our strategy gonna be? And then you got the black man saying whoop de whoop, you got the Native Indian man saying whoop de whoop, and you got the Latino man saying whoop de whoop. And they coming up with a plan and we win. And you got Moses standing there with the staff. You know what I'm saying? You got, well, at this time Moses had already passed. But you had no, Moses still alive at this point, so Moses up there with his staff. You know what I'm saying? They is two men holding on one side. We got the Ark of the Covenant. We're doing our thing and we win, man. Like black people win. We don't always lose. We're not always at the bottom, man. And you gotta know that about yourself. You gotta understand that we're in this room today, but we're gonna be in the kingdom tomorrow, man. And we're gonna be ruling all of this planet, man. Let me tell you something. All my life I've wanted to go to Jupiter. And I'm gonna do it, man. And I'm gonna do it if I don't do it in this life, I'm gonna make sure on my deathbed I'll be like, better keep these laws so I come back because I need to take care of Jupiter. When I come back, if we still can't get to Jupiter, when I get on that deathbed, I'm like, y'all better do what y'all gotta do because I need to get that Jupiter still. And it's gotta happen. I gotta go to Jupiter and find out what's all up inside that gas giant. You know what I'm saying? But that's the kind of time that we're gonna have. The scriptures say that Esau is the end of this world, and Jacob is the beginning of it, which follows. Meaning, the white man. Let me tell you something about white people. They're going to go extinct. Give it up for the Lord, man. The white man is going to be extinct one day. You understand? It ain't gonna be no George Washington all your damn life. Eventually, he's going to not exist, and you're gonna have to tell people that white people existed. They'll be like, yeah, like really though, man, like they really enslaved. Nah, man, not him, the caveman. Yeah, you, that's lying. You be lying. No, I'm telling you the truth. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to exist, and that is amazing, man. Don't you? That's like if cancer don't exist, or if AIDS don't exist. Has anyone ever lost a loved one to AIDS or cancer or any type of disease? You gotta raise your hand all at once. You know what I'm saying? But imagine if it didn't even exist to kill them. You understand? And that's how it's gonna be in the future, man. One day you're gonna wake up in life. You're gonna wake up and you know how it is when you're born. You don't remember that, but you're gonna be like 6. And you're gonna be like 36. You're like, you know what I ain't never seen? What, a white person. Yeah, man. That was like 20,000 years ago, man. You late. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? That's something to look forward to, man. That's a reason to serve the Lord. Keep going.
Verse 17, and whilst they sinned not before their God, they prospered, because the God that hath iniquity was with them. Slagia. Because the God that hateth iniquity was with them.
Read that from the top, because this is the whole point. Go ahead.
The book of Judah, chapter 5 and verse 17. And whilst they sinned not before their God, they prospered.
If we keep the laws of the Most High, we will prosper. I repeat, if we keep the laws of the Most High, which is brotherhood, loving the Most High with all our heart, and loving our neighbor, you understand, and keeping His law. That's all you got to do. If we do that, we will prosper. Because why?
Because the God that hated iniquity was with them.
Because the Lord hates iniquity. He hates when we treat each other poorly. You understand? That's why when Moses killed that African, it wasn't right, but he was defending the brother. But when Moses was trying to break up that fight between the two Israelites, it's like, what is going on here, man? We're not supposed to be fighting each other, man. Y'all brothers. Why is there no brotherhood amongst us? We all in the same condition. You understand? Because the Lord hates iniquity. And if we don't sin, which simply means we don't break his law. That's what sin is, breaking the Lord's law. It ain't nothing else. It's nothing else. So what should you be spending your life doing? Figuring out what are the laws so you don't sin against them, so you don't break it. Because if we don't break his law, we prosper. You understand? It's simple as that. If you smoke weed, you just gotta stop. Everybody tell me, I'll tell you the quick cold turkey. But what I'm trying to say is, you just gotta stop. You understand? You just have to stop doing the things that turn the Lord against us because he hates iniquity. Keep going.
Verse 18. But when they departed from the way which he appointed them,
When what?
when they had departed from the way which he appointed them,
When what?
when they departed from the way which he appointed them,
Keep going.
they were destroyed in many battles, very sore, and were led captives into a land that was not theirs.
Hold on. I know you heard that. Well, how do we get to America? Exactly. When we departed from the law, what happened?
And were led captives into a land that was not theirs.
Native Americans, they're not even native to America. You understand? They got led into Asher. You understand? Holofernes was the type of Assyrian that ruled over Native Americans and Latinos, and that's the reason we got the Assyrian Hebrew. You understand? Because we were in that society long enough that we had to figure out a way how to get in that thing and make it through. Just like America, you think black people speak slang because it's just our language? We're just trying to make it here in this American grammar. I remember hooked on phonics growing up, man. I was like, damn, this is kind of cool. I mean, I get it, but maybe people just don't want to speak English. You know what I'm saying? Why I gotta speak it the way you speak? You know what I'm saying? I like the way I talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, we create our own, what they call it, country grammar. We create our own language in the society that we live in. And that's the only reason there's an Assyrian Hebrew. That's why when it comes to learning the Paleo Hebrew, that's hard, you know what I'm saying? Because you're learning a language that is not spoken. That was Aleph, yes, Gimel, all that garbage. You know what I'm saying? Because it's the white man's dramatic Yiddish. You know what I'm saying? It's not our language. You know what I'm saying? Akkad, Shamya, Shalash, Arabah, Kamash, Shamya, all that. That's our language. You know, Shabbat, Salakia, we get it all, Shamawana, the Shah, Ashura. You know what I'm saying? That's our language. You know what I'm saying? It's better, it's rougher, and it's us. You know what I'm saying? But everything we've done, and it's only because we turned away from the Lord and we get led into these lands that are not our own. Keep going.
And the temple of their God was cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by the enemies. Verse 19.
Brother, read that last part again, man.
And the temple of their God was cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by the enemies.
It don't get no different than that, man. The scriptures say, I believe this 2nd Ezra 10 and 26 or 23 says, worst of all, the seal of Zion have been turned into the hands of those that hate us. You know what I'm saying? Like this shield of David, it's not what they call it, the Star of David or the what's the Star of Remphan, all that kind of stuff. It's Hebrew. It's a die on top of a die. You know what I'm saying? It's our language. It's David, which means uncle or friend. You know what I'm saying? But it's been turned into the hands of people that hate us. So if a black man or a black woman wears this, oh, you're Jewish? I'm a Jew. You mean like I'm a Jew? You're like, you gotta fight for your own identity, man. You can't just be who the hell you are. You know, they get to be Jewish day and night. Jews go to sleep, get more drain. They get to do all that. You know what I'm saying? They get to wear the little yarmulke. They get to circumcise the little boys and do that blood thing they do. You understand? I'm gonna keep it PG for the children here, but they do some horrible things with our culture that is not their culture. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because everything that is ours has been turned into the hands of our enemies. Keep going.
Verse 19. But now are they returned.
But what?
But now are they returned.
But what?
But now they returned.
Most High, give it up to the Lord for this, man. We back, man. We back, man. We serve the Lord again, man. We doing it. We doing it. You understand? And that's a beautiful thing. And give it up to all of you that are here. Because you're doing it. You're serving the Lord. You're doing it. And you came to the place to do it. You know what I'm saying? I pray to see all of y'all class on Tuesday. Or tomorrow for the Hebrew language class. The Sabbath service. I hope all y'all tune in. You understand? But you might as well stay here. You came, where you gonna go back? To Christianity? You gonna go back into the world and do worldly stuff? I hope y'all know I'm being PG. I'm rough. I am so rough. Everybody that knows me. So I done left the sword back here. I'm being very PG tonight, you know what I'm saying? But you're here, man. Where you gonna go? Because I don't have nowhere else to go, man. I'm trying to tell you, you can't get me out of here. I just know too much. You know what I'm saying? So give up. All right? Keep going.
But now are they returned to their God, and are come up from the places where they were scattered, and have possessed Jerusalem, where their sanctuary is, and are seated in the hill country, for it was desolate. Verse 20. Now therefore, my Lord and governor, if there be any error in this people, and they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them.
Man, this Asian is telling this Assyrian, you know what I'm saying? Like, look, if they doing wrong, let's go. We're gonna win. We're gonna win because you know that God hates iniquity. If they're doing anything that is iniquitous, we'll win. And we go, let's go right now. That's what he's saying. Go ahead.
Just thinking today's standards. How do you bring that to today's standards? These other nations, when you have these Arabs that come into our communities, you have these Asians that have their Chinese restaurants and everything set up. The so-called white man. They say if these people start selling crack or selling our meth or selling our ecstasy, then we can destroy them. We can overcome them. But if they stop selling these drugs, if they stop buying from our stores, if they stop doing things that we want them to do, celebrating on holidays, then how are we going to overcome them? And that's what Black and Hispanic people need to learn. That's all I have to say.
Sorry, Christ. Sorry, Christ. It's that. Go ahead. So
That's the reason why pork is so cheap. And they circumcise your babies on the wrong day and do all these wicked things towards the people in America because they want you to be out of order when the Most High comes. When Yahweh returns to pass the judgment. You know what I mean? They don't want y'all to come into this truth that's the Isupk.
right.
Home of the truth.
Right.
They don't want y'all here. They don't want us here. They don't want us to form a nation again. It wants to stay scattered.
Absolutely.
And go against gather yourself. You know what I mean?
Right. Absolutely. It is that. You know what I'm saying? And even like I don't want to lose the point of what he's saying, but you have to understand that this is proven that they already know. I didn't write this. We didn't wake up and say let's write the 1611 edition of the Bible. They've known all this time. You've been going about your life thinking this is nuanced and I'm finding out something new. It's kind of new, it's fresh. Man, back when someone was speaking, it was someone writing a scribe there, getting all that down. Back when your memory was so good because you had to remember things. Like think if you had to carry a message from Bethlehem to Bethsaida. You know what I'm saying? You gotta run. Not only if you carry the message, you gotta run. And when you get there, you gotta give the message verbatim. Like back in a time when words meant so much, they already knew who we were, the things that happened in our history, and then what they do in 2020. They wipe it all away. They whitewash it. You know what I'm saying? That's why when we now have we returned to the Lord. Now they can't fool us. You understand? That's why they know if we going against our God, let's go up against them now. So keep reading that.
But if there be no iniquity in their nation, Salakia. Judah chapter 5 and verse 21. But if there be no iniquity in their nation,
if they not messing up before the Most High, hear me.
let my Lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them, and their God be for them, and we become a reproach before all the world.
Meaning, if we serve the Lord and we go up against them, their God is gonna defend them. You know what I'm saying? And the whole world is gonna be like, look at these fools that have tried to destroy blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And when you look at how it is today, everybody knows that our oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. You know what I'm saying? The whole world, Commander Junior Hunter just did a video. You want to go look at it? Look it up on Black Watch. Just type in ISUPK Black Watch on YouTube, and you'll see that they said that based on the way that they've been locking up black people in Massachusetts, it can only be systematic racism. Only systematic racism. 6% of the population is doing 17% of the crime, but 75% of the population of Massachusetts, which is white, is doing 50% of the crime. So the 6% of the black people that are doing the crime are getting locked up and charged for 17% of the crime. So for doing 17% of the crime, which means that after they did their investigation, they figured out the only reason this could be happening is systematic racism. You know what I'm saying? It's systematic. You know what I'm saying? It's your life, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? The whole United States is just a slave quarters without the gates. You know what I'm saying? The time is 9:18. All right, get that last verse, and we're gonna skip some because I want to make this point for the sisters. Go ahead.
Verse 22. And when Achior had finished these sayings, all the people standing round about the tent murmured, and the chief men of Hophernes and all that dwelt by the sea side and in Moab spake that he should kill him. For say they, we will not be afraid of the face of the children of Israel. For lo, it is a people that have no strength nor power for a strong battle.
Now, that's what they say about us. They say, man, we ain't gonna use this history lesson you giving us. Think about this. We just went through it, right? And it's good for us. But they like, did he really just stand here and tell us that we shouldn't deal with these Negroes and these spits and these savages? We shouldn't run up on them? Man, get the hell out of here, man. Kill him, man. They don't have any strength to fight against a strong power like us. That's what they said. They said, as a nation of people, we had no ability to come against them. And what you about to see is it don't take a damn nation to fight your enemy. It just takes one person. All right, we're gonna drop down. It's a lot of plot points I want to give, but I'm gonna get to the point. I'm gonna get to the points. Give me Judith. Somebody. Oh, give me Judith. It is going to be chapter 12. It talks about the beauty of the woman.
One second, y'all. I had like 40 verses, but we're not going to get to them. It's the one talks about it.
Okay, give me Judith chapter 10 and verse 13. So I'm going to give you the spiel of Judith. Judith is a sister. Her name is the female way to say Judah. Yahweh. And she's the widow of a brother named Manasseh. And when he died, she would sleep on her roof, and she would wear the clothes of a widow. She didn't, because she was fine. She was bad. You know what I'm saying? But she would wear the clothes of a widow because she loved her husband so much. She didn't want to be in the house. She didn't come in for like Sabbath days and high holy days, stuff like that. So when she saw what was happening to Israel, she was like, all right, she prayed to the Lord all night, and she told the men of the city, I'm about to do an enterprise. Y'all, I ain't gonna tell y'all what it is, but when it's all said and done, we're gonna come up when it's all said and done. So she got all dressed up. She got her fine clothing at this point. She got dressed up, put on her ornaments. They saw her like, good night, you looking beautiful. Whatever you gonna do is definitely gonna work. Let the Lord be with you. So she took her handmaid. Her handmaid had a basket with some food and some wine and drink. So she went out of the gates of Israel, went to meet kind of like the runner for the Assyrian army. He saw her coming and he was like, who are you? I'm here to talk to Lebanese. She goes and talks to him. She says, look, I'm here to save myself. I'm going to tell you what they're doing, but this is what you got to do when you're going to be saved. People say, oh, man, you're great. The Lord is definitely with you with what you're saying. And she was fine. So she's gaming them up. She's gaming them up. It sounds like she's going to trade on the black people. You know what I'm saying? But she actually gaming up this Assyrian. Now read that for me, verse 13 of Judah 10.
Judah chapter 10 and verse 13. Mm-hmm. And I am come before Holofernes, the chief captain of your army, to declare words of truth. And I will show him a way whereby he shall go and win all the hill country without losing the body or life of any one of his men. Mm-hmm. Now when the men heard her words and beheld her countenance, they wondered greatly at her beauty, and said unto her, Thou hast saved thy life, and that thou hast hasted to come down to the presence of our Lord. Now therefore come to his tent, and some of us shall conduct thee until they have delivered thee to his hands. Verse 16.
Just like drop down to verse 19.
Verse 19. And they wondered at her beauty, and admired the children of Israel because of her.
It was so fun. They was like, damn, who are these black people? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a black woman should always know that about herself. A black woman so fine, she'll make a white man be like, damn, maybe I will walk on the wild side. You know what I'm saying? That's all it really is. Maybe I will have a bad witch. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing good. But you gotta understand, you're beautiful. You should never take your beauty for granted as a black, Hispanic, or Native Indian woman. You should just know, man, like, I'm a heat-seeking missile when it comes to these devils, to these heathens out here. You know what I'm saying? But this is why it's damnable for them to say that. Keep going.
And everyone said to his neighbor, who would despise this people that have among them such women?
Like, how can we hate the men if they got women like this? Go ahead.
Surely it is not good that one man of them be left, who being let go might deceive the whole earth.
And so that's why they're killing black people in the streets, man. Because they like, man, these women so fine, we'll fall in love with them, and then these men will take over the earth. We gotta kill them. You know what I'm saying? This is killing blacks and Hispanics is old business on planet Earth, man. And just because our women are so beautiful, they'll kill all the men. All right, I'm gonna drop down some more. It takes me to chapter. Take me to chapter 12. I'm wrapping it up, y'all. Forgive me. Give me chapter 12, verse 17.
Oh, God.
We're gonna get through this quick, and I'm getting to the point, y'all. Hold on. Go ahead.
Judah, chapter 12 and verse 17. Then said Holofernes unto her, Drink now and marry with us. So Judah said,
I will be married with us.
And be merry with us. Uh-huh. So Judah said, I will drink now, my Lord, because my life is magnified in me this day, more than all the days since I was born.
Like, what you gotta understand, she got an enterprise that's so heavy right now that she thinks he thinks that she's like, man, I'm so happy I didn't save my life because you gave him this whole plan. She don't understand. She's like, oh, this is the best day of my life because I'm about to do something to you. He wants her to drink and be married with him. Like, yeah, come on, you're part of us, man. Let's go.
Verse 19. Then she took and ate and drank before him what her maid had prepared. And Holofernes took great delight in her and drank much more wine than he had drunk at any time in one day since he was born.
I'll take me to Judah chapter 13, verse 2.
Like, it was so heavy. He was so happy. Like, think about the most beautiful Black woman, yourself. Think about yourself. You're the most beautiful black woman. Ain't nobody else. Don't think about nobody else. Think about yourself. Think about you. Just deceiving a man. You so fine. You done deceived a man to the point where he's just I was just gonna drink it all today. We about to take this land because these niggas they don't want to give up like everybody else. He just backing them up, taking them to the head. You know what I'm saying? Got drunk more than any day of his life. Go ahead.
Judith chapter 13, verse 2. And Judith was left alone in the tent, and Hophernes lying alone upon his bed, for he was filled with wine. Verse 3. Now Judith had commanded her maid to stand without her bedchamber, and to wait for her coming forth, as she did daily. For she said she would go forth to her prayers. And she spake to Bagoas, according to the same purpose.
Her maid didn't know what she was about to do. She had prepared it like, you go, I'm going to do my prayers, you stand here and do your thing.
Verse 4. So all went forth, and none was left in the bedchamber, neither little nor great.
Nobody had power or just a servant.
Then Judith, standing by his bed, said in her heart, O Lord, God of all power, look at this present upon the works of mine hands, for the exaltation of Jerusalem.
So what she's about to do is going to save black people. She's saying, God, look at what I'm about to do to save my people. Look at it. Like we like, Lord, look at this memorial of blowing of trumpets. Look at this one. That's how Judith is. Look what I'm about to do, Lord. Be with me for what I'm about to do. Go ahead.
For now is the time to help thine inheritance, and to execute mine enterprises to the destruction of the enemies which are risen against us. Verse 6. Then she came to the pillar of the bed which was at Hophernes' head, and took down his falchion from thence.
Big old axe. You had to think about it in the bedpost. You got the verse? You got the same verse? You got the same verse? Yeah, you think about having a big old axe up here on the wall. He laying on the bed, drunk. You know what I'm saying? Just laying on the bed, drunk. Head hanging off his head like this. It's a big old axe on the wall. Keep going.
Verse 7. And approached to his bed, and took hold of the hair of his head, and said, Strengthen me, O Lord God of Israel, this day. And she smote twice upon his neck with all her might, and she took away his head from him.
She took that axe, and she wasn't a strong woman, but she was strong enough to pick it up. She grabbed him by the head, and I gotta hold the mic so I can't. I'll do with deliverance. And the thing came off. You know what I'm saying? Like she did everything she did was for the men of Israel, was for her house, because she wants to build up her house. She didn't go to him to pluck her house down. She went to him to build her house up. Why? Because she's a wise woman. Whereas a foolish woman would have went to him and said, hey, look, go this way, you kill him. You know what I'm saying? She was doing her whole point of what she was doing was to save the inheritance of the Most High, which is blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. Keep reading.
Verse 9.
And tumbled his body down from the bed, and pulled down the canopy from the pillars. And anon after she went forth, and gave Holofernes his head to her maid.
Gave it to the maid. Keep going.
And she put it in her bag of meat. So they twain went together according to their customs unto prayer. And when they passed the camp, they compassed the valley.
Now drop down to verse 14.
Okay. Verse 14. And then she said to them with a loud voice, Praise God, I say, for he hath not taken away his mercy from the house of Israel, but hath destroyed our enemies by my hand this night. So she took the head out of the bag and shewed it, and said unto them, Behold, the head of Holofernes, the captain of the army of Assur, and behold, the canopy wherein he did lie in his drunkenness. and the Lord hath smitten him by the hand of a woman.
You understand? Like she shouted out to all the people, like, check this out. You understand? And pulled the head out of the bag and said, look at this, and had the canopy to prove that she had cut his head off at his bedchamber while he lied in his drunkenness. And said, look what the Lord has done for Israel, where he even caused their enemy to be taken down by the hand of a woman. A woman is blessed with beauty. The only thing stronger than a woman is the truth. Wine ain't even stronger than a woman. As you saw, the devil or the heathen got so drunk off of wine that he fell for the beauty and the words of a woman that he thought was a traitor, only to find out she was really there to cut his head off and bring it back to the men of Israel to give them strength to fight against the enemy. Keep going.
Verse 16. As the Lord liveth, who hath kept me in my way that I went, my countenance hath deceived him.
What did she say?
My countenance hath deceived him.
Her appearance deceived him. Woman, use your. All right, listen. When a man, all right, this is what a man in the UPK do. He be like, what skills you got, baby? Oh, well, I'm into this, I'm going to do that. All right, well, you know what you should do? You should go for the top of that and get all of the damn money out of the white man's enterprise and bring it back so I can use it for our nation to build it up. She ain't going into the white man's workforce to be the greatest CEO of Amazon and all these different companies. She's conning. A black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian woman is supposed to be conning all these nations to get everything she can out of them without, matter of fact, she's going to say it in a minute, without defiling herself to bring it back to her nation or specifically to her own husband. You understand? That's what this is all about. This is the Joyce Gordon. It's a lot, guys. The name drop. But what she's doing in Oakland, her husband gets to thrive off of that. With your wives or your wife, I'm in a situation, what they're doing, they bring it back to you so that you can thrive. And all these brothers with their women, everything you do is so he can thrive, so he can serve the Lord, so we can take this planet from our oppressor, man. We ain't just trying to thrive in this economy. The whole point, I tell my kids, because my oldest son, he hates school. This is online school. I'm like, the whole point is you take the white man's education and you turn it against him when you're old enough. That's the whole point. It ain't deeper than that. I don't care if you're a molecular biologist or anything. If you're going to be it for black people. You know what I'm saying? Don't be it for the white man. Be it for your people. You understand? Keep on reading that one from the top again. We almost out of here. I'm over time. Keep going.
Judah chapter 12, chapter 13, verse 16. As the Lord liveth, who hath kept me in my way that I went, my countenance hath deceived him to his destruction.
That's right.
And yet hath he not committed sin with me to defile and shame me.
Meaning she would have counted it as a loss to have had to sleep with that heathen just to make this thing happen. If she had to lay with him and let him do whatever the heathens do to their women just so she could cut her head off, it would have been a loss. She was like, look, not only did my countenance deceive him to his own destruction, but he hasn't committed sin with me to defile myself, man. Right. That's how you want to be, man. As a man and as a woman, a man should never go into the workforce like these rappers and these basketball players, and they call it Illuminati, all that garbage, but you shouldn't have to bend over for a record deal. You shouldn't have to bend over to be the greatest boxer or the greatest basketball player. You should just go in there with your skill and your cunning and your ability and take over. You know what I'm saying? That's how it's supposed to be. Keep going. Read last verse.
Verse 17. Then all the people were wonderfully astonished and bowed themselves and worshiped God and said with one accord, Blessed be thou, O our God, which hath this day brought to naught the enemies of thy people.
I'm saying, right, you know what I'm saying? The Lord going to bring to naught the enemies of our people in 2020, man. This ain't just a story. The story is there to help you understand what's going to happen. sisters, y'all gonna do something great for the Most High and for y'all people. Just like these brothers gonna do something great for the Most High and for His people, right? When we work together, because we know we have a common and the same inheritance, that's when we show love and brotherhood and sisterhood for each other. That's when we're not sinning. That's when we're doing the laws of the Most High. And saying with that, pass the class over to Priest and Officer Sharia Award.
Wrap it up. Wrap it up. Wrap it up. Fine class. Yeah. Give the Lord's prayer. And somebody get this, because I done messed it up. Yeah. Absolutely. Whose phone is this? It's your phone, Kaka? Oh, that's my phone. No, it's not. Keep it on like it.